Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you, Nagesh. Good to know you're keen to get started. So I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for joining today. We've got a webinar specifically on cost saving using our Cost Explorer tool. And this is in the data lake space, leading due to the level of granularity and precision over cost control that you can get. But anyway, as Nagesh is keen to get going and he's got all of the tech knowledge, so I'm going to pass you over to him so we can begin. But thank you very much for your time, and hope you find today's session useful.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for covering that, the intro. Okay, irrespective. So as we get started, so in today's world, I think cost is becoming one of the important factor here, and specifically after the COVID-19, everybody started using cloud like crazy, and now as things kind of come back to normalcy, what each enterprise or it could be a large enterprise, small or medium enterprise, everybody is seeing that okay, they are spending a lot, they're not getting the return on investments as they expected, and they're struggling to keep up with the cost. Yeah, and I have used cost numerous times. The reason is we would be discussing how we can keep our cost in big data and specifically in the data engineering space under control. Yeah. So today the topic of our webinar is Crush Your Data Costs with Qubole Cost Explorer. So as I will talk about Cost Explorer in a couple of slides, just a brief intro about myself. As Matt just said, I'm Nagesh Reddy. I'm the Senior Solution Architect who will be your host for this webinar today. Okay. So as we move the next slide, the first slide, if you see basically the agenda, what we will be talking about today. Yeah. The first is basically what Cost Explorer is, or basically how do we gain visibility and control, correct? And then second is basically how do we optimize spending and efficiency. Third is basically which will give you kind of the about to kind of make sure that okay, there is a financial governance. Okay, now what Cost Explorer does is basically it provides you a powerful and granular visibility into data lakes and basically cost at the top, cluster and at the user level. So if you can see that, okay, we have got data lake costs, which can be managed at all the three levels, that is at job, cluster, and machines. Yeah, so that's one of the important factors that we get with the Cost Explorer. When you move to the second one, correct? What do you get with this? What do you get? So basically, look at various so what do you learn first? So sorry for that. I think there was a slight delay because of my mic. Okay, now I'm back. There was so what do you learn from the strategy? Yeah, identify where you can optimize the cost. And second is basically when you are trying to optimize the cost, at the same time you're looking at where how you can forecast. Yeah, and the forecast is basically at the two levels. One is basically what you will be spending, at the same time what you can save. Yeah. Maximize the value of the data infrastructure investments. That is what I started with saying that okay, after COVID-19, everybody has spent a lot, but now they are realizing that how they can get the return on investments as and they pull back after those investments. Now, the second one is basically making sure that we have a financial governance. Yeah. Now, what does a financial governance means? What does it means? Basically, it means that, okay, in an organization, you have multiple units, units, and each of them might have their own kind of budget. But most of the large enterprises, what they do is basically they follow a centralized ecosystem where they manage all their infra at one level. Now, what happens with this is there is a budget which is kind of not managed properly, and it is done at a very high level, correct? when I say very high level, it is run at the enterprise level. Now, what happens if somebody is using a complete the entire budget, and somebody is kind of using a minuscule? But again, since there is no visibility, everybody is kind of blamed, or everybody is kind of uh, getting the hit because probably one of the organization might be using a lot of budget of the overall uh, data engineering budget, let's say. Now, the other aspect is basically, as we started talking about, yeah, what is basically the return on investment, correct? About all these, how do you kind of justify, and what is return on investment analysis, correct? So that's what basically the financial governance is all. Okay, let's move on. Now, before we actually get into Cost Explorer, I would just like to give a few facts about Qubole. The couple of things, yeah. First, I would love to talk about data platform, where it started and how it started. Yeah, so Qubole was started by as an open source data platform, and it was started by somebody who were the pioneers or kind of the co-creators of Hive and other ecosystems, yeah, which has helped big data kind of evolve over a period of time. So cloud is something, and if you go back to the history, correct, everything started on-prem, but Qubole was one of the first guys to actually take it to cloud. So cloud becomes our is part of our DNA, and cloud native is some of the strategy which is followed from day one of Qubole formation. If we take the next point, which is market adoption, we have a very broad and diverse industries and locations. Uh, and the third aspect, since we started with cloud, one of the things that we have made sure is customer first is our motto, and then we have helped save customers like more than 600 millions over a period of time, from 2011, yeah, but it keeps growing, yeah, it keeps accumulating. At this moment of time, we are kind of processing more than an exabyte of data a month. We have a global presence 24/7, which makes sure that our customers are kind of catered to for uh, any untoward incidents per se, or kind of are ready to help customers whenever we are required. And definitely, since we are open source, since we are kind of a cloud native, with all these qualities, we have the best employees to make sure that we cater to the broad base of customers. Now, who Qubole can be used by per se, correct? Now, Qubole is something which can be used across organization. It doesn't matter you are at the top level or executive levels, or you are at the data engineer. So basically, a data engineer. So we have tools which can be used by data engineers, like the workspace, the basically the notebooks, which can be used for your ETL, your data science. That is a data scientist, basically. The notebooks, we have both notebooks, Zeppelin and Jupyter notebooks. So both of them kind of help you in building your data science and ETL activities. At the same time, we have business executives who can use our workspaces, where you can write simple SQLs. Sorry, for the data analyst and business user. For the business executives, we have dashboard which are built on top of these notebooks that you have. That is Zeppelin and Jupyter. You can convert them into read-only notebooks, and those can be used for by the business executives as your dashboards. Now, what is Cost Explorer? Yeah? We spoke a lot about cost and what it does. Yeah, and what it does is basically it empowers you to capture, track, analyze, and report all your spends. Now it captures, so whenever you execute a job, either because Qubole has got multiple engines, it has got Spark, it has got Hive, it has got Hadoop, and Hive and Hadoop, and it has got Presto. Yeah, so it can capture, track, analyze all these spends, monitor and show back. Basically, it can monitor your spends and at the same time show you where the spend has gone, justify the business, because now since you have, basically you can track and analyze, you can justify the business plan, saying that okay, this is what I'm spending on, this is my domain, or this is my job, specific job, and this is what the cost of it. You can definitely do a justification of the business plan now. Plan and budget ahead. You know exactly what is your budget or basically spend going to be, and that's based on that you can kind of plan ahead. Build a ROI analysis, and that's what we have spoken about, because now you can talk about which jobs or which applications are taking what kind of resources, and you can do an ROI analysis. If there is an ROI, you should just go ahead and kill that job, or uh, whatever action you want to take based on the analysis or the spend reports that you have. Now, what was the problem before that cost explorer? And we still do that. Okay, so I have seen in various platforms where you don't see, and that is where I started with the discussion. Correct? I don't see basically what is the cost, what is the cost spent at the granular level, and at the job level, and the application level. That is something that is missing. Correct? And that's and if you see what's from a problem perspective, more a refined problem statement perspective, data is growing every day. Correct? Everybody is collecting more and more data, and as more and more data is kind of collected and processed, and with more and more historical data for your ML, and now with LLMs, correct, um, the data, the cost keeps on increasing because the data is increasing. Correct? And now since data is increasing, your processing is increasing, but since if you don't have visibility, you will kind of at the end of the month or end of a year, you will see a bill which is might be 1x, 1.5x, 2x, or whatever you might have estimated at the start of the year. Either you have to cut down your jobs, or either you have to bump up your expenses. So either of them. So basically, that's what kind of what are the issues. We see, at least I, as an enterprise architect, I see these issues with other platforms. So Qubole does help you solve this. And since you don't have visibility, you cannot forecast. It's better because it's not. It's you have to have a granular data to forecast better. Now, what does, so basically I spoke about what are the problems and what does it solve? Yeah. The one of the things is basically it is clarity in cost of reporting. It has a very granular visibility where you can go to the job level, you can go to the application level. What this does is it helps you kind of making sure and mm, understanding which, rather than looking at very high level, that is at the cluster level, you actually go much deeper and look into basically application and jobs, which where it tries to give you that probably a visibility, and you can go back and look into the type of the issues that might occur. It could be a data issue, it could be a job performance issue. All those things you can go drill down and go and look into those. A view into the future, basically, because all we have built an intelligent platform behind this cost explorer, where it can actually gives you optimization, what kind of if there are any hot tables which are used excessively, you can probably use a mechanism or a strategy which can help you reduce the cost, or it can tell you which of the jobs are run more frequently, which can help you reduce the cost by optimizing them. So these are a couple of things which will help you uh, reduce your overall cost using Cost Explorer. Now, again, just taking a step ahead, the spend tracking, yeah, what you can what you can track. So I have been talking from slide number 1, but again, it tracks spend across data engines. As I said, that it can, since Qubole has got multiple data engines, it has got Spark, it has got Presto, it has got Hive, so it can track all those data engines. Granularity into exact cost. Again, the same thing where we drill down in each of these data engines and go to the level of instances. If you look at from a hierarchy perspective, you can go to cluster, instances, jobs, and then users. Then visualize your spend. Basically, it gives you kind of a very intuitive visualization with all those bars and charts, which helps you kind of identify the bottlenecks and other aspects much more quickly. And zoom in and zoom out. Since I spoke about visualization, this is part of it where you can zoom in and kind of find more. You can drill down and get into more details basically. Now, How does Cost Explorer help you in planning and budgeting? Correct. One of the things is it can do a financial forecasting where it can tell you what would be your future spends based on the historical usage patterns. Build financial models again based on the previous historical data. You should be able to do that. Plan realistic KPIs where you can kind of see that what are your KPIs, where you can give certain budgets certain budgets to your organizations, and based on that you can uh, you can track them, yeah, if there are cost savings which are going up or going down, so you can do that. Set safe budgets again, you can have budgets which are allocated, and at the same time having alerts for those budgets, making sure that you don't cross them beyond a limit. Integrate with your tools. Basically, you can have it integrated with any of the financial tools that you might have at your disposal. Okay, now talking about what Cost Explorer is built on. Yeah, it's built on two things. One is data collection and distribution. So Qubole at this moment has got. I'll walk you through Qubole architecture, but it has got two things. One is it has got the control plane and something called as a data plane. A control plane is something which is Qubole specific, where it kind of can uh, which is hosted by Qubole as a software as a service, and then control plane, data plane is something which is your basically VMs, your data, which is on your VPC, basically whatever cloud you choose. Now, Qubole Cost Explorer actually collects the data from uh, basically the control plane, and at the same time it does collect the data, or basically these are nothing. When I say data, these are metrics. Yeah, who is executing the job, what type of job, what is the cluster, what is the VM, how long it has been running, and those kind of statistics. Yeah, all this data is kind of collected, and it actually at the same time it does make sure that okay, it actually can store the commands which has been executed. Data ownership and retention policies. And what happens is once the data is collected, where the data is stored, it's stored in your Amazon S3 buckets, or since I'm talking about AWS, it would be on your AWS S3. So you are the owner. Ultimately, you as a customer who is using Qubole are the owner of the data, and you can use it in any other sorry uh, way that deem fit to you, but of course it is the data is something which is residing in your VPC. Self-service analytics. Qubole is you can run ad hoc queries. I'll show you that there are two ways that you can do it. We have something which is built in, everything out of the box, where you can just click, everything is ready for you as a visualization. At the same time, we have provided notebooks. In notebooks, you can kind of customize that if you want to uh, do something more than what the dashboard might not be providing you. So you have got the flexibility to kind of go beyond what Qubole provides out of the box. Data access policy, since I already said that, okay, Qubole is something which is open, at the same time secure data platform, so it makes sure that okay, control of the users is pretty is taken care of. Now, spending tracking again, taking. I'm just kind of reviewing each and every uh, point in granular level. So spending tracking, yeah. So what you can do is basically establish a chargeback and showback process, yeah, where you can attribute a cost to a specific user's team and project. Since now we, as I said, it doesn't matter that you. If a user is using a part of a full cluster, but you should be able to attribute that okay, the user has used so many QCUs, and similarly a team has used so many QCUs, or a project has used QCUs. So you should be able to kind of charge back. At the same time, you will be able to show back to the customers. Provide, and what it does is basically provide transparency. As I said at the beginning, that if you don't have this transparency, uh, the projects which might not have a good ROA, but using most of the resources might not be able to justify, will not be able to pinpoint them. So these chargeback and showback kind of helps you in making sure that there is a better transparency, and then there is a attributable cost to specific users and projects, and implement budgeting and forecasting, and again based on the historical job and user level cost, which can help you predict the future spends. And at the same time, you can set alerts and notification to manage your budgets. And you can conduct ROI analysis. Basically, again, say, how do you kind of manage your spend, correct? ROI analysis on the data platform investments that you might be doing. Okay, advantage. What are the cost optimizations, correct? First is basically breakdown. Since we give you a granular breakdown, you get from job cluster instance and user dimension, so you get that. Any anomalies will be flagged. Any patterns, basically, as I said, hot tables. Let's suppose from a table perspective, we're talking, there would be hot tables which are used more frequently. Then probably you can see that how you can optimize that. Migrations, basically, then again based on these calls where the data is kind of accessed frequently and all those things, you can create a strategy of SSD or other type of storage, basically. Then again, constant monitoring, you can track basically the storage performance of DB, search engines and analytics, and benchmarking. It helps you kind of make sure that, okay, you have a benchmark, and make sure that, okay, you don't kind of go beyond that benchmarks, or to make sure that you have the best practices inside your enterprise. Just to recap, comprehensive cost visibility, intelligent optimization recommendation, and flexible reporting and integration. Those are the couple of things that you get with Qubole Cost Explorer. Okay. And this is an architecture of Qubole. Basically, if you, as I said in the previous slides, that there is a Qubole control plane, there is a Qubole data plane, and there is a consumption layer. So this is a Qubole control plane where you have all these tools for you. You have Apache Spark, Hadoop, Presto, Hive, Airflow, and TensorFlow. These are the various engines that are available to you. And these are the various tools: explore, analyze, notebooks, compose, dashboard, and templates, which are available based on the personas, users. They can use the tool that is required by them. Then you have the VPC. Basically, the VPCs are your data plane, which is running inside your VPC, where you have two things. One is your data lake, and then your compute, and it can be executed in any of the clusters, any of the hyperscalers that you want to use. So as I was talking earlier also, that Qubole is pretty much secure, and it is open source. When you say secure, your data doesn't move out of your VPCs. It stays inside your cloud in your VPC. We just are kind of orchestrator of the jobs. And even this Cost Explorer data also stays in your data lake. Then you have basically access systems, which is basically nothing but your users, your API, your SDK, your ODBC, JDBC. Based on whatever kind of consumption you have, you can use the appropriate mechanism. Now, I have spoken a lot, I think, and I have been talking a lot on Cost Explorer. Let me just quickly give you a quick demo of how it looks like. Now, let me first jump into Qubole. I have also already logged into us.qubole.com, and I'll go into the usage. If you go into the menu, you can see usage here. So I have already jumped into usage. Yeah, so there is something called as, on the left side, you can see reports, status, insights, and recommendations. So I'll just quickly go into each one of them. So if you click on reports, you will get the various type of report types, commands, canonic, Hive, cluster usage, cluster nodes, and basically other types. Yeah, I'll just click cluster usage, and I'll go this month and submit. So it should be able to. So I'm using one of the clusters in my GMW. Basically, it takes a couple of seconds to get the reports. And while it fetches the report, I just want go to notebooks. So as I was talking, so this is right now. So these are the right now. I have to start the cluster, which will take a couple of minutes, but I can show you what it is basically. What we have done is we have created notebooks, and both of these, that is the usage as well as these notebooks, actually fetch the data from the same backend that I explained you in the uh, uh, slides. Yeah. So you have QCU. Basically, QCU is Qubole Compute Units, and TCO basically where it is the total cost of ownership. So we have two major basically uh, cost attributables. Okay, that is QCU and TCO. Now, if you go here, so these are executed. So this is a lot of code that you might see, but don't worry about that. You don't need to uh, run that. If you see, ultimately what we do is these are the Spark jobs. You can set your start date, end date. What is the environment that you have? This is basically account ID. In this case, I have picked up our internal account ID. And here you can see the total QCU, the on-demand QCU, the spot, and basically it tells you the what is the percentage of on demand and spot. This is one of the important factors in Qubole, yeah, where you try to kind of maximize your spot instances and minimize your on demand instances, so that helps you in saving. Similarly, you have other statistics, like it gives you a lower level as you drill down. It gives you lower level what is the Jan, Feb, March, and so on and so forth as you kind of keep it uh, drilling down. Yeah. This is clusters by QCU spend that you will get overall QCH, on-demand QCH, and all those things that are available to you. What is the spot QCH? What is the spot percentage? Those are available. Now I executed that query. So if you, I'll come back to this, which is much more user friendly. So you get the cluster ID. What is the what is the cluster label? That is which cluster? What is the environment where it was executed? What is the account? What is the cluster? What is on demand? What is spot? So if you see, this is entirely spot. Yeah. QC is I assume this was executed for very small unit of time, so that is the reason you get 0. But you can see here this is one of the basically cluster ID 2183, which has got basically uh, these the cluster label, and then you can see how many days it was running and what is the QC you spent on this. So by this, you can see that, okay, if this is a cluster that you want to kind of pinpoint and say that, okay, why this has been using, how it has been using, what is the on demand, what is the spot. Now, if you see, this is a sweet spot on the spot usage as well, because it is 730 versus 484, which is around 60 odd percentage of spot instances versus the on demand. So this is a good use of spot instances. So like this, you can do your analysis and see which of the cluster you can target. Similarly, you can go and see at all the commands, the various commands that you have, and then you can pick up this month. And as I said, you can also attribute it to users commands. I already told, so you can do. You can start doing drilling it down as you want, and you can take it a level further. You can go to status, where it goes to basically similar kind of things, but it gives you basically what are the total commands that were executed, what are failed, what are cancelled, success, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, it gives you the cluster metrics in QCH. If there is any latency in the commands, it also gives you that. If you go to the insights, you will be able to find all tables. What if there are hot tables? As I said, it will take some time to load hot tables. Any recommendations active and resolved, it will give over here. And high level QCH, basically what is this QCH? This is a high levels simple metrics for a higher level executives. Yeah, could be. So I'll take a pause here. If there are any questions that I can answer, let me answer those. So one of the queries that I got is basically, is this chargeable? Qubole Cost Explorer. Okay, the answer is basically it is not chargeable. One more query that I see is basically, is Qubole Cost Explorer open source and can be used with any other platform? Qubole Cost Explorer is something which can be used only with Qubole. because it is built along with where the data is stored, how the data is stored. So that's one of the reason that it is only with Qubole, but definitely it helps the users on who are on Qubole data platform. Let's give a couple of seconds, and if there are no questions, we can wind this off. Okay. Hopefully this was a very good informative session for you guys, and thank you for joining in today, and hope to see you in the next webinar. Thank you.